to the coordinator. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Can I start now my presentation?
You just have to wait for the welcome address. After the welcome address, you'll start.
Okay.
Very good morning, one and all present here, and thank you for joining us. Just before we start, I would like to express my gratitude to all of you who so generously helped us make this event come together smoothly. Dr. Novita, Stake Home University, and the member of organizing team. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to the fifth 5 days webinar series. Today is our third day. Here in collaborations with the DMI St. John the Baptist University, Malawi, University of Stekom, Indonesia, through the online platform. We are all looking forward to learning and sharing a fruitful experience all this series. On this special occasion, first I would like to welcome our director, Dr. Ignatius A. Hellman, DMI Group of Institution, Reverend Fathers and Reverend Sisters, Dr. Jerin Lino, Vice Chancellor, Head of all departments, faculties, and all participants of both DMI and Steko. I welcome you all. Amidst us, we have an incredible persons, Ahmad Zaenuri, University of Stekom, lecturer of on the series of webinars on consumer behavior, contemporary perceptive analysis on motives, perception, values, and desire of consumers in deciding to a purpose of purchase of product. Welcome you, sir. We are much proud to have such an eminent person with us. Now I hand over the section to Professor Ahmad Zaenuri to proceed. Have a great section to you all.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss Dr. Glory Jerin. Thank you so much for your presentation about my name and my identity. Okay, I will continue with my presentation. And before I continue my presentation, I say good afternoon, everybody. And the first, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to present the theme about consumer behavior, contemporary perspective analysis on the motives, perceptions, values, and desires of consumers in deciding to purchase a product. Okay, thank you so much for Miss Dr. Novita from International Affairs, Stekom University. And thank you so much for the audience for joining this international webinar series between St. John the Baptist University Malawi and University of Computer Science and Technology Semarang. Okay, before I continue my presentation, I will open my curriculum vitae first. Okay. Yes, this is my curriculum vitae. My name is Ahmad Zaenuri, M.Si. You can call me with Mr. Ahmad. My address in Pahlawan Street, Kebun Dalam, Kendal, Central Java. My educational background, period 2009 until 2013 as Bachelor degree of State Administration at University of 70 August 1945 Semarang, and period 2015 until 2017 as Master Degree of Human Resource Management at University of Stekom, Semarang. My experiences period July 2018 until January 2019 as a speaker of National Examination Strategy and College Admission Selection at Regional Central Java, as Java and Bali. And then period May 2019 until June 2021 as an Assistant Manager of Purchasing Department in PT Sasgra Sindo Tegal, and 2020 until now as a lecturer and head of entrepreneurship study program in University of Computer Science and Technology Semarang. Okay, that's my curriculum vitae. Yes. Okay, there are several important questions that need to be studied in consumer behavior, motivations, and desires, such as what are the goals of consumers to behave? Why do the customers buy and consume certain products, brands, and services after choosing from a variety of alternatives provided by their environment? What is in their mind? How do they feel the struggle when they realize their desire in the form of action? What kind of explanation should be explained about the different motives and goals of each consumer in various situations? And then these questions are the central discussion in the theory of consumer behavior when viewed from the analysis of contemporary perspective that are developing at this time. Okay, before we continue about how the customer decide to purchase the product, we want to explain about definition of consumer behavior first. Okay, definition of consumer behavior. Customer behavior is the processes and activities which are related with searching for, selecting, purchasing, using, and evaluating products and services to satisfy needs and wants. That means the consumer searching for, selecting, purchasing, using, and evaluating, they want to consider from the several of supplier of the seller, and then they want to select the best quality, the best price, the best quantity, the best services, and etc. Okay, and then this is outline of consumer behavior. So in this presentation, we will explain about consists of three parts. Number one, statistical information, and number two, psychological information, and the last, dynamic information. Statistical information consists of related information that can answer who the purchase of product or services, what the product they want to buy, and then when the product will be buy or will be purchased, and where the product they want to find to fulfill their needs or their desire, and how the purchase will be made. Okay, and then the second outline of consumer behavior relate about psychological information, relate with information that explain why someone buys and rejects a product. So they want to looking for information. How? Why? Why the reason finally they want to buy the product, or they want to reject the product? This is about the reason of the consumer. And then dynamic information, relate information that can explain why the buying process occur. So this is there are step why buying the process occur. That's they want to looking for information, and then for the fulfill buying process occur. This is outline of consumer behavior. Okay, next. This is decision of making model, starting from customer needs, and then informating collection, and then alternative evaluation, and then determination of the best alternative or decision making, and the last, post-purchase behavior. Okay, starting point with customer needs or customer desires. So when the customer needs or desire of the product or services, they want to looking for information collection. Information collection from the seller A, from the seller B, from the seller B, from the seller C, and etc. And then they want to alternative evaluation about the price, about the quality of product, about the best services, and etc. And then they make the decision making, and finally they want to post purchase behavior if they won't feel satisfied. So they feel the satisfied and they want to repeat order again. Number one, this is a customer needs. Okay, customer needs buying process begins customer problem or needs. So we can recognize a problem or need. Consumer will purchase a product as a solution to the problems. Okay, example, consumer want to buy a smartphone. Smartphone, they want to buy the smartphone need for a communication tool. Not only need for a communication tool, but they need to listen to music as a documentational tool, as a tool to help work, and as an entertainment tool. So the consumer needs, they want to buy a smartphone. Okay. Then information collection. Information collection after they understanding the existing problems, the existing needs, the existing desire, consumer will seek information to solve existing problems through information search. Okay. They want to looking for information search from personal source or commercial source or public source. Personal source consists from their family, their friends, their neighbors, their relation, etc. And then the source from commercial source from the advertising, salesperson, distribution, etc. And then from public source, from mass media, internet, and etc. Example, if the consumer want to purchase a product, before they want to decide purchase a product, they want to give information or recommendation from their friend, their friend, because their friend have used this product from maybe from the e-commerce on the offline shop and the other. Okay. And then alternative evaluation. This is the step after the information collection and they looking for alternative evaluation. Okay. After consumer get various kinds of information, consumers will evaluate existing alternative. Okay. Example, they want to determine smartphone. They want to determine to buy the smartphone, but based on the brand, the best quality, the best price, and then finally they want to decide the purchase of product. Okay, and then purchasing decision. So after the consumer has several alternative strategies, the consumer will make a purchase decision. Okay, purchase decision, they based on including brand, quantity, execution time, and payment method from one supplier and the other supplier, from the one seller and the other seller. Okay. And then the last step, yes, the last step, the last step for a decision-making process. That's post-purchase behavior. After buying a product or after purchase a product, consumer will evaluate whether the product meets their expectation or not. On this base, consumer will provide a response or feedback whether they feel satisfied or dissatisfied if the consumer very satisfied with the product, they will be loyal toward the product or the brand. Okay, this is a purchase decision process. Okay, this is the cycle of purchase decision process, starting from customer need and customer desire, and then they want to looking for from advertising, from recommendation from friend, from their family, from their relation, and etc. And then from book reference and etc. Okay, after they looking for information search, and then they want to determine the criteria or evaluation. Okay, criteria evaluation, they want to consider from seller A, from seller B, from seller C, from seller D, and from seller E about the quality, the services, the price, the place, and etc. And after they decide, after determining about criteria or evaluation, they based on purchase of decision. They want to select from one of the supplier on the seller, and then purchase post behavior. Will they feel satisfied or dissatisfied? If they feel satisfied, they want to repeat order again. But if they want to dissatisfied, they want to search the other supplier or the other seller. Okay, this is categories of people in the buying process. Okay, starting from initiator, influencer, decider, buyer, and user. Okay, initiator is the first person to suggest to make a purchase. Okay, example in the factory, there are operator of their production. Operator of their production need equipment tools from supporting their activity. And then influencer is a person who gives opinion or advice that influence. Okay, operator will be information from the influencer. So they want the supplier give explanation about the advantage use the product or services, and then decider is a person who makes the decision. This is manager of operator of production. They want decided. They want to make the decision from the operator of production. And then buyer is a person who makes the purchase. Buyer is purchasing the department in the factory, and department purchasing will be process the purchase order to the supplier or the seller. And the last, this is user person who use the product purchase. This is about the part of production who use that equipment or the tools to supporting their activity on production. Okay. Factors that influence consumer behavior. Okay, factors consist of 3 factors, from personal factor, and then psychological factors, and the last is social factor. Yeah, factors that influence consumer behavior as consumer behavior and the motivation, attitude, and the decision making process of buying, lifestyle, perception, personality, and then etc. Okay, this is personal factor. Personal factor is the most decisive factor in purchasing product. This is because it is strongly influenced by several characteristics. Personal factor consists of three parts. Number one, economic situation. Number two, because of lifestyle, and the last because of the age and life cycle. Okay, we will explain about economic situation, lifestyle, and age and life cycle. Okay, this is economic situation. Example, Mr. Budi and Mr. Heri. Mr. Budi and Mr. Heri. This is the people, but different of profession. Mr. Budi as a director and Mr. Heri an ordinary employee will differ in product selection and decision on a particular product. For example, Mr. Budi buys a car while Mr. Heri, because he ordinary employee, he buys a motorbike to go to the office. Okay, because lifestyle. Okay, a person patterns of life as expressed in the activities of that person interests, and opinions. People who come from the same culture, social class, and occupation may have different lifestyle. Okay, same culture, social class, and occupation, but they have different lifestyles. Example, Nisvina and Nislia is the same of secretary profession. Nisvina is a secretary, and then Nislia is also a secretary. Even though Vina and Lia have the same job, but their lifestyle is different. For example, Vina has luxurious lifestyle and is extravagant in using her income, but different with Lia, while Lia has a simple and more frugal lifestyle. This is about lifestyle. This is about different lifestyle. Even though they have profess the same job, of secretary. Okay. And then about because age and lifestyle, people change the goods and services that they buy over their life cycle, such as food, clothing, furniture, and recreation are often related buying age and are shaped the family life cycle. Okay, the example age and life cycle. When Mr. Budi was a child, he preferred to buy two products than other products. But as an adult, Mr. Budi prefers to buy fashion products than the toy products. This is example age and lifestyle. Okay, the next psychological factor. Okay, psychological factor are factors within individuals that influence buying behavior, such as motivation, perceptions, attitudes, and belief. The psychological factor consists of four parts: motivation, perception, attitudes, and beliefs. Okay, we want to explain how about what the motivation, what the perception, what the attitudes, what the belief. Okay, this is motivation. Motivation is an action need that direct a person to seek satisfaction or needs. According to Maslow's theory, a person is controlled by a need when human needs are arranged according to hierarchy from the most pressing to the last urgent. Basic of motivation, see physiological needs, and then safety needs, and then social needs, and then esteem needs, and then actualisasi self needs. Example about the motivation. This is about services of motivation of services, not product. Yeah. Okay, a famous artist needs extra security to maintain herself. In this case, security is an urgent motivator. So she needs extra security to maintain herself. And so she needs a bodyguard to keep herself safe. Okay, the next about perception. Perception is the process used by individual for select, organize, and interpret input information. To create a meaningful picture of the world, it can also be perception is the acceptance of a person response to a situation. Okay, example, Mr. Eko. Mr. Eko has a perception or view that according to him, the best smartphone product is the iPhone. This is this is him perception from Mr. Eko. Okay, and then about because of attitude. Okay, attitude is a good or bad cognitive emotional feeling and tendency to act over a certain time toward some object or idea. Example, a person who doesn't like durian will not buy durian, and usually he will stay consistent even if he sees a 15% discount at the supermarket. Okay, a person who doesn't like durian. But if he sees a discount among 50%, they still doesn't like a durian. They still not to buy durian. Okay. Beliefs is a description of the ideas that a person holds about something. Example, when someone has high confidence, for example, in objects that bring hockey. Mr. Dion likes to buy a cat because Mr. Dion believes the cat, if he uses, it will bring good luck in his life. This is about the belief Mr. Dion. If Mr. Dion buy the cat, and then they want to bring good luck in his life. Okay, and then social factor. Consumer behavior is also influenced by social factor such as group, family influence, social class, and culture. Social factor consists of four parts: from group, from family influences, from social class, and from the culture. Okay, this is a group. We want to know about how to the group. A person's attitude and behavior are influenced by many small groups. The group which is the person has a direct influence is called by group membership. The group includes family, friends, neighbors, co-workers, and secondary groups or religions group and trade unions. Example, if a woman who gathers with her friends, when her friends are talking about fashion product, the Zara brand is better than the Gucci brand, then she will prefer the Zara brand compared to the Gucci brand. Why? Why? About the reason? This is because of the influence of the primary group, namely the friends, her friends. Her friends is influenced to her to buy the product from the Zara brand. Okay, family influences. Family has a big influences on buying behavior. Big influences. So participants have examined the role of influence of husband, wife, and children in the purchase of different products and services. Okay, example. One of family consists of father, consists of mother, and consists of son visiting visiting a restaurant. It is usually the child who will have an influence on which the restaurant he and his family will eat. Why? Why about this family influence? If the decision is rejected by the father and mother, but the child will cry and whine so that his wishes are fulfilled. Okay, this is about social class, grouping of individuals based on similar values, interests, and behavior. Social groups are not only determined by one factor. Okay, social group not only determined by one factor, but are also determined by work, education, wealth, and the others. Example, Mr. Dani is a millionaire that will buy for an expensive product. Like as a chief executive usually buys an expensive product, this shows that social class greatly influence consumer decision in making purchase. This is about because of their social class. Okay, about the culture, subculture, and social class have a very important role for buying behavior because the culture is the most basic determinant of desire and behavior. Example, in the midst of hectic Japanese and Korean cultures that are developing in Indonesia, and then not a few consumers are starting to buy Japanese or Korean damn goods. From example, maybe food, maybe fashion, maybe cosplay events, and etc. This is a culture. Okay, this is a purchase behavior. Okay, purchase behavior consists of four parts: complex buying behavior, dissonance reducing buying behavior, habitual buying behavior, and variety seeking buying behavior. Okay, the first we want to explain about a complex buying behavior. What the complex buying behavior? What is definition of complex buying behavior? How the consumer decide to complex buying behavior? There are difference between different brands. Okay, there are difference between different brands. Consumer will take a lot into account if a product is expensive, including secondary needs, rarely purchase, and risk. Usually, the customer doesn't really know about the advantage of the product. So the customer doesn't really about the advantage of the product. So it is requires a learning process related to the product, but they determine their desire about the difference between the different brands from one supplier or from one seller and the other supplier on the other seller. Okay, the next about this dissonance reducing buyer behavior. This behavior occurs where the customer is involved in a purchase but doesn't see much of a brand difference, okay, but doesn't see much of brand difference. Therefore, the customer will directly learn what is available and make a quick decision by buying a product, by purchase a product. This is reducing dissonance, reducing buying behavior. So the customer doesn't see much of a brand difference, and they make a quick decision for purchase a product. Okay, and then habitual buying behavior. Habitual buying behavior based on the behavior of customers who have habitual buying behavior when involved in purchasing a product. Customers do not extensively search for information about the brand, evaluate its characteristics, and in making decisions do not take long consideration about the brand that they will buy. Habitual buying behavior, like today's needs or today's desires, based on the customer who have habitual buying behavior. So they do not extensively search for information about the brand, about the quality, about the price, but they want to evaluate its characteristic, and making decision do not take long consideration. They do short consideration about they will buy the product. Okay, the last variety seeking buying behavior. Customers have buying behavior by looking for variety when involved in purchase with many different brands. Okay, they want to looking for the variety. They want to select many different brands. For this reason, many customers make brand switching. So, but not for the reason of dissatisfaction. Not about for reason of dissatisfaction, but rather because of variation. Because they want to, there are variation of the product or services, so they not bored with the product or services. So they want to select, they want to looking for variety from the other brands. Okay. And then runaway success from seller comes from a deep down understanding of what makes customer interested. So we must to know about customer interested. We must to know what customer needed. We must to know what customer desired. So we want to explain the detail of product, deep down understanding with the customer. So because the deep down understanding and then make the customer interested, this is runaway success of seller. How to deliver, how to the best deliver the style of product to customer, how to make the customer interested the product or service. This is correlation of stimulus, behavior, process, and response. This is any correlation from stimulus, behavior, process, until response. What make occur with the consumer before they decide the purchase of product. So they want to see about the reasons or stimulus, and then from the reasons they want to behavior process, and after they want to see behavior process, and they want to give a response or feedback. They want to give a response or feedback from their field. Okay, stimulus. Stimulus, we will know about stimulus from consumer for the recent sample economic product, for the reason about the technology digital, which developing, with developing is at this time, and then recent political situation, and then recent the culture. Okay, about the stimulus or about the reason how they finally purchase the product, how they finally decide the purchase of products, and then from stimulus behavior process to see the buyer characteristic. We want to know about the characteristic of buyer, characteristic of customer. What makes interested by customer? What are they needed at this time? What are they desire at this time? About buyer characteristic, about how to determine decision making process. So after the decision for the buy or the purchase a product of services, they want to give response or feedback first. Okay, how is the response of feedback the customer? Number one, product selection. They want to product selection. They want to select the product. They want to select about the quality of product, the price of product, the services of product, and etc. And then the brand selection. Brand selection. They want to selection of brand, because if the product is a good brand, so they give so they have a recommendation from social or for public or their friends of their friends of their family of their relation and etc. And then they have to determine about purchase quantity. Purchase quantity, including they want to buy the product if amount of big. So they must be selective about the product, about the brand, about the buying time selection, about the purchase quantity, about the seller, about the supplier, and etc. Okay, this is the last benefits of consumer behavior. What the benefit of consumer behavior? The benefits of consumer behavior. Number one, persuading consumers to buy market product. So they want to decide about a segment market, and then they want to persuade customer. They want to give the detail of product, so they want to they able to persuading customer to buy the product. What the detail, what the advantage, disadvantage, what the price, what the detail, the product, what the quality of the product, and etc. Okay, and then understanding consumer in behaving, acting, thinking, so that marketers or producers are able to market their products well. Okay, with the understanding consumer in behaving, with the understanding consumer acting, with understanding consumer thinking, or we know about understand consumer needed or consumer desire, so that we able to market their products is well. So we can give them about the detail, deep down about product. So they want to interested to buy the product. Okay, the last, the benefits of consumer behavior. Understand why and how consumers make decisions so that marketers and producers can design marketing strategies as well. Okay, understand why and how consumers make decisions. Before they make the decision to purchase a product, they will consider about the quality, about the price, about the quantity, about the services from the supplier, one, and the other supplier from the seller one and the seller the other seller. So they compare one supplier and supplier the other supplier before they making a decision to purchase a product. So we have understanding why and how consumer make decision with the good they want to interested my product, and we can arrange marketing strategies as well. So we can design or we can arrange marketing strategies for the consumer because we know about how and why consumer make decision, so that we can could the design from marketing strategies. Okay. Okay, thank you so much for the last. This is my presentation about a consumer behavior, contemporary perspective analysis on the motives, perceptions, values, and desires of consumers in deciding to purchase a product. So, in this theory, central discussion about when viewed from the analysis of contemporary perspective or perspective that are developing at this time. Okay, I have show to you about the example how to implementation about the factor because of consumer behavior to purchase a product. Okay, this is the last my presentation. Is there any question from the audience? Maybe. Thank you so much for Miss Dr.
Participants, if you have any questions now, you may ask.
Okay, is there any question about my presentation about consumer behavior on the motive, perceptions, values, desire of consumer in deciding to purchase a product? So before the consumer in deciding to purchase a product, they want to consider from one supplier or one seller and the other seller on the other supplier to see about the quality, about the brand, about the price, about the services, and etc. Okay, is there any question from you?
Dear participants, if you have any doubts, you can discuss now.
Okay, I want.
Yes, Professor, kindly share your email ID in the chat box so that the participants will contact you if they have any doubts or.
Okay, I want to stop my presentation first. Okay,
Okay,
Miss
sir.
Dr. Glory Cherin, is there any question? No.
Yeah,
Oh,
as of now, they don't have any doubts. So, but is it useful to them if you share your email ID in the chat box?
yes.
So, if they have any doubt, they will contact you.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. I will my address email in chat. Okay. This is my email address. Ahmad Zaenuri. Right. Yes, this is my address email. Maybe you can discuss with me in my address email.
Thank you, Professor.
Yes.
Thank you so much. You have provided a lot of information to us about maintenance of business with clear ideas. Thank you for your time. Thank you once again on behalf of DMI St. John the Baptist University, Malawi, and University of Stekom, Indonesia. Dear participants, really it is a great pleasure to wish you all once again. Last but not least, once again, I would like to thank all the delegates, the university authorities, and keynote speakers. Tomorrow we will all meet again with a new topic with new information. Thank you one and all.
Yes, thank you so much, Miss Dr.
Everyone a successful, safe, and fruitful day. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Professor. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much for the audience. Thank you so much
Thank you,
for
sir.
Miss Dr. Novita from International Affairs from Stekom University and etc. Thank you so much for everybody. Thank you. Good afternoon.